Well, we're looking at this extraordinary volume called the Editions book, where they note the imprints, the plates being used, and when they need to be renewed, I suppose.
Yeah, I mean, I must admit, I actually find it hard to look at it simply because I'm so high on the smell of this book. It's like, you know, the book. It's got the most incredible, delicious smell of book and of history, and just look at it as an object. It's a proper book.
It's a proper book. It has numbers at the top. There's, so you know how far into this huge volume we are. And what I really enjoy is looking at Carroll's Alice in Wonderland, that wonderfully sort of insouciant way of actually saying, well, it's a book like any other, so we've noted it down.
It's Carroll's one, you know, not any
right.
of the other hacks who've had a go.
Exactly. We've got Mary Carpenter's Life down here, and Carlyle's Reminiscences, which I've got to say really didn't need as much attention.
I don't feel they sparked the public imagination quite so much.
And it's wonderful to see this side, the sort of, I suppose, the technical side of publishing, you know, where we need to know where we are, what we're doing in production terms.
Yeah.
And then we're looking at these beautiful artefacts, which are the plates from Alice in Wonderland. And as I look at them, as I look at both the wood blocks and the steel plates, I can see the Cheshire Cat ghostly sort of coming out towards me. And I think of the extraordinary hand sort of produced quality, the actual technical process where these extraordinary engravers, I want to say Dial brothers, who actually took Tenniel's drawings and they destroyed the drawings in the process because they were actually on the block of the wood, and they would actually, through their engraving, they would transfer the drawings onto the block and spent hours and hours. I would love, as an illustrator, a pair of brothers whose only purpose was to very carefully reproduce my drawings.
Totally,
you know,
and destroy them in the process in a kind of symbolic
I could live
sort
with
of way.
that. I could live with that.
Well, this is the high tech of its time, isn't it? And I think, you know, the joy is that we can still see it. I mean, I almost feel it's like when I looked at the Grand Canyon the first time, and you become so used to seeing an image and an idea of something that to see it in kind of physical reality, it's almost hard to look at because I'm looking at it through so many layers of so many illustrations I've seen in the past. I mean, that iconic image of Alice, of the cat, who seems totally in his native environment here, you know, in this slightly disappearing, shimmering metal form, seems like kind of...
We're seeing the deconstruction of a classic book, aren't we?
Yes.
You know, we're seeing sort of where it came from, the
mechanics of it. It feels
Absolutely.
like the inside of, you know, a device or a computer. It's the equivalent to that, isn't it? It's the back end of a book, really.
And here, you know, here is Alice. She's grown very, very large. You know, she's taken something she shouldn't, and become very large within. And I was fascinated to learn that Charles Dodson had a condition where he actually had hallucinations. Where he imagined he was very big or very small in different contexts.
Yeah.
And they've actually called that, I think, in retrospect, Alice in Wonderland syndrome.
It's incredible, isn't it? These things, you know, you can't really distinguish the imagination from biology.
I actually couldn't hear what you were saying. You're very, very small. No. No, that was very facetious.
Yeah, it's beautiful. I think this really brings home to me the dilemma, really, of modern archives or not, and this idea that so much creativity and so much creation we have now is existing digitally, and we have this danger of obsolete formats, of, you know, God forbid, failing servers, or indeed the end of electricity. And, you know, what's so wonderful is that this stuff survives.
The Editions book is never going to fail, is it? You know, I mean, as a server would, you know, that's here till doomsday. It looks, you know, that binding itself speaks volumes. And I think also, you know, the artefacts, talking about deconstructing the book, here we have these extraordinary artefacts that went into the making of this classic book. and now working in the modern sort of era where we have, as you say, digitization, a lot of illustrators I know work completely digitally, and so their work only really becomes real when they're printed, when it's printed out.
I mean, how much do you archive your work, keep your drafts, your sketches, your drawings? Are you quite conscious of keeping the kind of evolution of one of your stories, and you have all the kind of
Molly, I want to
stuff?
describe to you my very well ordered studio and my sort of...
Do you have an archive room?
I have a pile of paper, a very untidy desk. I know where things are, is all I can say. I hope that one day someone's going to come in and archive me.
A full-time archive.
No idea what's there. And again, I love the idea of these plates being discovered in a vault. You know, I mean, there's something about almost, being
archaeological,
archiving
isn't
something
it?
and putting it somewhere and then forgetting where it is, and then it being discovered.
Yeah.
So I think I would quite enjoy that. I'd like my work to be inconveniently lost somewhere, and like the sort of Tutankhamun's tomb, someone sort of stumbling across it going, well, what is this stuff?
Yeah.
It seems to come from the sort of early 21st century. It seems to be on paper.
Yeah.
Who'd have thought? And the server didn't fail. It's extraordinary.